Good morning, good morning. Wow, what a day, what a day. I'm still having trouble sleeping. I'll be watching the clock and oh, just continuing to feel blessed. I've just had a flood of inspiration and just counting our blessings. And so here I am, from the balcony. I'm blessed. I just count my blessings to be alive. Here's my garden from the top, and we overlook a community park. And then the sun rises from the east there, and then floods into our bedroom. So, I just feel like So I'm reflecting on the day ahead. It's just going to be a magical day, a magical day. I have 4 coaching clients. Plus, I'm going to be speaking to Yvette, and I'm going to tell you about, a little bit more about Yvette in a moment. So, what I'm realizing is just how blessed I am to have extraordinary people in my life, just extraordinary people in my life. And then I realized that, in my previous video, talking about starting a movement engaged in healing, what I'm realizing is I'm already involved in extraordinary organizations that are doing this work in the world already of healing. So, for example, I have a blessed association with Tracy Gaudet at the Whole Health Institute, and I'm going to share more about that later. She's doing unbelievable work in bringing whole health to the world. Unbelievable work. I'm also blessed to have a connection with the Global Wellness Summit and the Global Wellness Institute. And they're doing incredible work, bringing healing and flourishing to the world. And then, a big part of my work is really being invested in conscious capitalism. My book, Leading Well from Within, is the science and practice of conscious leadership. And Conscious Capitalism is an extraordinary organization. It's an extraordinary organization founded by organizations like Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, Best Buy, Patagonia, Southwest Airlines, Starbucks. You get the idea with the cultures that we're talking about. Just these are vibrant cultures, and they've come together. With the mission of we exist to elevate humanity. We exist to elevate humanity. I mean, when we're talking about a movement, that movement is already afoot. And for all of us to be able to align in community with the movement, this is an ecosystem of movements. And it's an ecosystem of movements. And I want to invite you into this ecosystem that I am networked in as well. So, conscious capitalism, coming back to that, it runs off 4 tenets. The first tenet is higher purpose drives. And certainly, whatever catalyzes purpose in your life, I've been activated with an intense sense of purpose now in my life. And then it's making sure that all stakeholders are well represented. So it's bringing wholeness to the system. So there are many, 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 stakeholders that we all want to make sure are involved in an ecosystem where there's win, 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 win. And then it's about conscious leadership that drives conscious culture and a thriving environment. And there's actually some science around this. So Raj Sisodia, who co-founded the movement with John Mackey, wrote a glorious book called Firms of Endearment. And I'm just thinking right now, because my heart is cracked open, and I'm coming to a place where I'm understanding the power of conscious leadership is coming from an awakened heart. Now, when I go back and I reflect on Raj's title of his book, Firms of Endearment, and how that actually, when I talk about what that means to me about being engaged in loving relationships, where we receive and give love with each other, moment by moment, making every moment count. So Raj followed, I think, about 20 companies over a more than a 15-year period, and found that these companies outperformed the market by a factor of 10 to 1. That's where I became very fascinated. So how is it possible? How is it possible that you can actually not only do good, but do well by doing good? So, so I've been very invested over the years since 2012, when I was first invited to the Conscious Capitalism CEO Summit to actually teach on conscious leadership before I knew what conscious leadership was. Then I went back in 2013 with my son, with Zach, because at that time we had written a book called The Big Decision. And so Zach was 13 at the time, and we got to talk on stage together. He spoke in front of all these CEOs at age 13 on how to make good life decisions. So there's another arc of the story on that I want to come back and share with you as well. So I'm blessed. One of my clients, coaching clients this morning, is the CEO of Conscious Capitalism. And I'm blessed to coach Alexander McCoben to support his extraordinary conscious leadership. So in addition to the coaching call, I'd set up, I had wanted to seed him with an idea. He doesn't know, I don't believe he knows about my illness yet. And he certainly doesn't know about the idea I was going to pitch. But I'm in a mastermind group with others doing conscious leadership, and we were talking about our kids. We're in time of COVID, and many parents are struggling with the kids. Kids are struggling with the online. Some kids are feeling very lost in this online environment. And so one of the things, I think the time is right. A book's just been published on conscious capitalism for kids. And one of the things, I really feel it's time for a teen chapter of conscious capitalism. The time is now. And it's the idea about bringing teens together to shape the future of our world, building at the foundation conscious capitalism principles, conscious leadership principles into the teen years. It's just, I was so excited to pitch this, and I was going to pitch this idea to Alexander before I knew my illness. It takes on a whole new level right now. And one of what I want to pitch to Alexander this morning is for my son Dill to actually be a part of founding the teen chapter. And Dill is an extraordinary young man. He's an extraordinary young man. He's president of his sophomore year at Torrey Pines. And he's just the most soulful, deeply loving, and fun. Like he brings life to this house because he's a prankster as well. And he wants to make this fun. He's very invested in wanting to play a part in, leading this movement. We've had the discussion. I've asked him if he wants to kind of play a role in founding the teen chapter, and he was super excited. He was like super excited. And he says, I don't only want to make, to bring these life lessons of helping kids have more awareness about how they show up in the world, whether it's with, whether they're showing up with positive influence or negative influence. And he understands that conscious leadership is an act of influence, and it's about awakening yourself to helping kids become more aware about how they can have a positive influence on others around them. But he said, Dad, I want to make this fun. So he's a super creative kid. I mean, geez, super creative. I just feel, I couldn't be more blessed. Dill, when you listen to this video, I love you. So proud of you, my son. That's amazing. So that's what I'm about to pitch to Alexander. And then, I have an extraordinary conversation coming up with Yvette Miller. And Yvette Miller and I, met in the Academy of Integrative Health and Medicine. And Yvette is a medical director of the Red Cross. And she is an extraordinary woman. She happens to be a black woman. And we have been engaged in a series of conversations about exploring what does it mean to heal the systemic racism of our time. What does it mean? What does it mean? And it's been a very raw, I'm a white South African. She's a black American woman. And we're holding our conversations in a container of healing. It's a container of love, but I am learning so much from her perspective. And I think she's also learning from my perspective. And through that, we're both healing together. So I hope to be able to, engage Yvette, and that you get to meet her also today. So I am just so excited for the day. It's just like everything that is lined up is extraordinary. I don't have a job. I haven't had a job for a long time because I do what I love. I do absolutely what I love. So a friend of mine, Steve, said to me, he said, "Are you working today?" I said, "I'm joyfully so." And then I sent him a text back. I said, "I'm playing today." And that's what my life feels like. I feel so abundantly blessed. I'm a very ordinary person living by the grace of God, or the field, or whatever you want to call this, by the grace of God or the field or collective loving consciousness flowing through my ordinary life, blessing me with extraordinary experiences. And I hope this blesses your life too. Lots of love.